Hey YouTube, Awesome Rider here with a video talking about today's Fan First Friday news that focused on Pink Ranger Pioneers, in which we discussed all the seasons like MMPR, 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 Zeo, and MMPR. All jokes aside, let's get started. I'm going to talk about everything and then give a sort of critique of the Fan First Friday because I have some thoughts, but we'll get to that. So, as mentioned, it's centered around Pink Rangers and primarily sort of the early Pink Rangers, namely the original two, Kim and Kat. Even mentioning the original 1969 Suicide Squad MMPR Pink, jeez. The first release is a really weird one. It's a cel-shaded MMPR Pink figure. It's basically the same looking MMPR Pink figure, but it's got some paint on it to make it look like it comes out of a comic book. But just in paint, like it's not stylized or anything. Like, I think that would have been honestly cooler, like, and maybe Frieza as well. Instead of having it have this, I like the idea in a way. Like, setting aside the too much MMPR thing, I don't mind the idea of these types of figures, especially since I'm a big fan of the comic books and I almost want something that represents the comic book versions more. But this would almost be cooler if it was stylized instead of this paint, because the paint on it almost makes it look like it's a paint mistake figure and they're like, it's cel-shaded. It would be really cool, like the old Clone Wars animated series figures that are done in the animated style and stuff like that. Or even for Resistance, like the figures weren't trying to be live action, like they looked like the Star Wars Resistance animated figures. And I would love to see that actually. Like, as much as we're milking MMPR, I would totally buy a set of the original 7 done in like kind of a comic booky animated style to replicate the comic. At least that would seem cooler to me. Also, a little bit of a nitpick complaint, but I'm disappointed it doesn't come with a comic Kim head sculpt. I guess it's more I don't know, this confuses me. Is it more difficult because they don't have an actor's head to scan? Because, you know, they do so many Star Wars characters that are based off of animated that they make live action, like, you know, Kanan or Ahsoka. And they also do so many Marvel stuff, good talk, awesome. So many Marvel things that are based on just a comic. So I don't know why they don't do civilian heads based off of comic characters like Ranger Slayer. I was disappointed we didn't get that head. So that sounded. I think that would have made this release a little bit more palatable for me too if it came with like a comic Kim civilian head, and that's just a missed opportunity. Then we have something which leaked quite a while back. It was kind of found, I think, in some listings, and then Posh Jerry showed a picture a few days ago. Thanks, spoiler alert. Already made this joke on Twitter. Just making it for those of you that don't follow me on Twitter. Don't follow me on there, I'm just more pessimistic, to be honest. Pink Ranger helmet. Like a helmet listing found a while back too, and I kind of originally speculated, before I forgot about the pink one that had been found, that it was going to be green next, because that just logically made sense to me. But honestly, this is kind of neat. Like, while I'm excited to eventually get a Green Ranger and like the Black Ranger, who's my favorite suit, I think this is actually a nice change of pace, because it's something different. We haven't gotten a Pink Ranger helmet before. We didn't do one under Bandai, so it is a little bit nice to actually see the female Rangers get a spotlight, which is one nice thing about this one in general. So I am kind of excited for this, because I like the lightning helmets. I think it'll look good on display, and I think it's, even though it's still MMPR, easy pickings, you know, I'm glad that it is a little bit different than what I would have expected next, which is something like the Green Ranger and something like that. Maybe that leaves hope for like a Ranger Slayer helmet later. I would totally love to get like a Draken and Ranger Slayer helmet later. Then for the next figures, we're getting like a Cat 2-pack, and this is how we're getting Zeo Ranger 1 Pink, but we're also getting another MMPR Pink figure, and it does come with a little cat, like, you know, her cat form when she first appeared on the show. Don't even need it, already have a Goose figure, 0 out of 10. I kind of like the idea behind this, but there's some mixed thoughts on it. Like, first of all, it sucks that if you're only wanting Zeo and you're wanting to complete the Zeo team, you're gonna have to get yet another MMPR Pink figure. We have like 4 of them now. We have regular, we have metallic, we have this one, and the cel-shaded one. So that kind of stinks, especially since I think that there's better options for a Cat 2-pack. I mean, they could have saved Metallic Pink for this, since Metallic Pink was exclusively Cat's and not Kim's. Unless I'm forgetting, but I don't think I am. But that would have been perfect. Maybe they could have started the Ninja Ranger powers with this. They could have done Cat's monster form, which would have been a little bit more nice. But still, like, I hate to sound like one of those entitled Lightning fans complaining about it, but it just kind of sucks when you have to like quadruple dip on MMPR Pink already, even though I like the idea of the pack. That mixed in with double dipping, and there probably will be an eventual way to get Zeo Pink again. So I can see a bunch of problems happening with that. But Goose jokes aside, the inclusion of her little cat form is kind of a nice little touch. And then we have a really weird one, possibly the weirdest one of this reveal, was an MMPR Pink Morpher, which basically looks like the movie versions of the Morpher, because it's just the Morpher with like pink outline, just like all the Rangers have their unique outline in the movie. And then it just comes with the same coins and unique phrases that are only Kim based. So like she'll say it's Morphin' Time or whatever, and then when you put the other coins in, she'll just say the other Rangers' names, but it sounds like stock Kimberly and not real Kimberly. This is just such a weird release for a couple reasons, mainly because you guys remember what they did in Legacy? They did the movie ones, which I thought was a cool idea. Like we did the Tommy one, I think came out, and then they tried red and blue, but those didn't sell really well. I never even picked those up. Like, I'm like, God, I don't want to spend that much money on just the same Morpher. I'll wait for it to go on clearance. And then they kept clearancing it, like, at Barnes & Noble, and I kept saying, I'll pick it up next time, pick it up next time, and I just never did. But those didn't seem to do too well, even though I liked the idea of doing a movie Morpher. So I immediately thought of that. They're not mentioning it as the movie Morpher, though, even though it's very much in that realm. But also, this is our second only ever Lightning Collection Morpher release, which just makes it stranger. I just mentioned a few news videos back how I was really surprised they haven't announced a Green Ranger Morpher yet, because that's so easy to do. You just gotta release 2 coins, maybe 3 if they do Falcon, paint it over, put it as an exclusive somewhere. You know, it's just easy does it. Green Ranger, White Ranger stuff always sells. I totally expected that to be the next one as they're testing out the waters. So I like the idea of what they're doing, but it just seems weird. And, you know, coming with 5 coins is better than coming with 2 coins, I guess. But I feel like this could have been a cooler release if it came with her coin and her Crane coin, and that's it. Because apparently if you don't want to display the other 5 coins or other 4 coins that aren't pink, they have like these little display coins they didn't show at the thing. I don't know if there's going to be pictures ready for me to show after when I'm editing this, but they said there's going to be like little round things that show off moments in MMPR Pink history. So, like, not that I would want less stuff, but I feel the release could be a little bit tidier if it came with Pink Ranger's 2 coins and then those little shell coins of like MMPR Pink moments or something. Because it just seems weird, like MMPR Pink Morpher with the other coins. And I feel like I own the power coins like 15,000 times between all the Legacy and Lightning Morphers and all the old MMPR figures that came with those. Those are the releases we're getting, and I just want to give a critique here because I hate when I have significant criticisms against the Lightning Collection, because as you know, the Lightning Collection has become kind of notorious for fan complaints, and I feel oftentimes people are a little bit unrealistic and untitled. They don't even have titles. Entitled. That was like a Michael Scott moment. Is ergonomically correct. I do have some criticism of this because I do understand, and I'm a defender in the past of when they do MMPR stuff, because they have to keep it in the realm, and I think they've done a good job of balancing it between niche releases like A-Squad and Psychos and Monsters and stuff, and MMPR stuff. But in order to sell more, they have to sort of keep it within the realm, because that's what sells more to the casuals, and I totally understand that. But this is the first time I really felt the milking of it, and I felt there was better options. Like the cel-shaded pink figure, I think, is the most milking Lightning Collection figure we've ever gotten, and I think there was better options. Like I said, maybe a stylized one. I mean, if they only wanted to highlight MMPR for this, we could have gotten a Ranger Slayer Queen form figure. Or better yet, if you wanted to stick closer to MMPR, we still haven't done the MMPR Pink comic design. And I can't really speak to this because I'm not a financial expert and I don't know the numbers. I'm fairly certain that standard MMPR stuff does better, but I would say that I feel as comic stuff like the Ranger Slayer or the MMPR Pink suit would maybe hit a sweet spot between being something new for the more hardcore fans, but also get the casuals. And like I mentioned, there were better options for secondary figures for that cat set. The helmet's cool, I like the helmet, that's no problem. The Morpher just seems weird. Like I don't know, it's just weird. I respect the idea of what they're going for, but I feel like there could have been something better there. And I feel like it would seem less weird if this wasn't our second like Morpher in the Lightning Collection, especially since, like I said, I speculated something like green being easier, and fans, I feel like every Lightning Collection video I make, whether it's a news one or a figure review, people are like, where is the Morphers? Why aren't they doing more Morphers? And this is just weird that we're getting the second one. And I liked the idea of a female Ranger focused thing too. I think that was kind of nice, since we as the more hardcore fans know that the female figures unfortunately don't get released as much because they don't sell as well, and it takes longer to, you know, get those figures out. So I appreciated that. And I guess for a starting point, it makes sense they focused on just MMPR Pink. And to give them credit, they did mention stuff like Corona at the end. But it would have been nice to just, because I was thinking during this whole thing, before they talked about Corona, they're highlighting Pink Ranger moments, I'm like, you know, it would be great if they could highlight all these Pink Rangers that had actual character after this. Like, so I would love to see them do another one like this in the future that was just like all Pink Rangers or all female Rangers or all yellow Rangers or something that were highlighting the whole history and showing clips. Like, they could have used this as a mainly MMPR focused show, but then had like clips from other shows to like maybe introduce people that don't know about those other seasons. I don't know. Because I don't want to sound like one of those complaining fans. I am complaining right now because I just do have criticisms. As I mentioned before, I think that they usually have a better balance of MMPR to other stuff ratio, but this was the first time I felt like they were milking it. And mainly, I just don't want to see them take more heat, so I think this was a bit of a misstep and leaning a little too far in that direction. But I still do think they're putting good effort into things. I think they're listening. I appreciate theme stuff like this, but I think this was one of the first Fan Fridays that was a little bit too much of an MMPR misstep for me, especially since there's still a ton of MMPR stuff they could release that they could milk that I would gladly buy, like comic designs. I'd buy the Wild West Rangers. I'd love to see figures of the movie suits. So I'm sure people will roll their eyes and MMPR disgust at all of those, but there's tons of MMPR stuff we still haven't gotten to that I would gladly be excited about before they start doing cel-shaded versions. But what did you guys think? Are you excited about any of the stuff from this week's Fan Friday? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.